So the E, when it becomes a clock, which is turning then towards A, B, C, it's always like transferring knowledge in a way.
Right. And the numbers.
If one
it is number one. It is the first number.
Yeah.
It is one. It is the first, it is one. So the clock is also, there's the natural formation of the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and why they are shaped the way they are, which Cliff Barber was describing as more of a dance of the rest of the astral bodies, all the way from, Venus, Mars, Mercury, etc., have something to do with the formation of the numbers. Yeah. But E, as in a clock, now we're more Roman numeral type of numbers that go around the clock in 12, and then you have the E, the pole, is this galactic axis of the planet. Is the galactic axis of the planet and pointing to the North Star, and if that tilts, it's still pointing to the North Star. Yes?
Yeah, some way. Yeah.
So in the story, when Earth tilted, the whole sky also tilted.
Yeah. And then we started to get new words also just because of that.
Which is super fascinating. That it wasn't just the Earth tilted, but the whole sky tilted. So the North Star is still the North Star and still fixed in its location.
Yeah.
And there's some profound null edge. So like null edge, null is 0. Yeah. And so an edge is edge, right? Like you're on the edge of 0. What is, like, already that is 0 is nothing. It's the opposite of infinity. Yeah. Right? And what's
you're
interesting
at the edge of the 0.
Yeah, and the infinity symbol is this kind of
number 8.
Well, it's like a figure 8. It's more elliptical, like it's not equal. Like it's not two ovals together. It's if it's the movement of the sun and the moon in the sky makes an elliptical pattern in its cycle. So the sun is a yearly cycle and the moon is a 28-day cycle, a month. And they make this figure 8 pattern in the sky, but the axis, which is now tilted, but you have to understand this alphabet was formed without that concept of a tilt.
Yeah.
So it is upright, which is super interesting because how is that possible if humans were only here, 10,000, tens of thousands of years? When, whenever it's funny, whenever I hear like scientists or anything speaking of like, oh, the human immune system has been forming for hundreds of millions of years, because obviously we've been evolving from previous species and everything like that. So our immune system comes from previous species and stuff. But then we're describing an understanding of this understanding of an upright axis, and where none of this would make any freaking sense with a tilt.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it. It would change what all the letters look like. It changes what all our numbers look like. It changes everything. But anyway, so this upright axis is pointing to the North Star, and we're getting that concept of north, a true north, right? A true north. We have a magnetic north. Like if we look at our compasses, it'll take us to some magnetic north, and then eventually when you get to magnetic north, your compass is spinning. But this true north, this is the trisul, right? So in this image that you have up here, this W, which is the trisul, is more representing this idea also, right? Of the E,
but it somehow also represents like everything around it, because it creates two dots on the side. So when the E is spinning, like when the Earth is spinning, it's also the world is spinning around the E. And that's also the concept, because the trisul has to do with Ukko. And when you have the Warner system, the Ukko, everything is spinning around him, generation for generation.
Right. Which is kind of a combination of the V and the A,
Yeah.
But it also represents male, female.
Yeah.
Right. But back to this axis, right? We have several words to go with this E. So what are some what are some combination sounds with I? We got in. We got well, let's start at the beginning. I got we got.
But should we do the combination sound when we come to letter E? So we have just E here for introduction, and then we can jump to A, and then when we come to E again, we can dive deeper.
Okay. Okay, because it's kind of an overwhelming task. I wasn't prepared to go into the double letters anyway. So, okay. We'd like to do it where in the introduction, I guess I didn't really say, but we'd like to do a little study of our own beforehand, so we can kind of present something and have some idea of what we're speaking about beforehand.
But let's try to keep this round so that we are introducing things.
Okay.
And then next round we jump into A, B, A, C, A, C, A, D, and so on.
Okay. All right.
So we get a little bit of feeling and.
Okay. All
Good
right.
feelings.
So I will. I think we get the point then with E, inside, in. And we have our spine, which is our own axis. That's inside, and okay, great. Galactic axis, where the whole sky clock goes. So as the wheel keeps turning, and also to point out, this is what I was going to say a minute ago, was when you're making it, if you zoom into like the flower of life pattern, each letter, what I had to do was identify every 10 degrees around the clock. So every 10 degrees. I made so where the top of the E is, the dot at the top of the W there, you go 10 degrees. Tick, 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 tick. So each little tick, there's not always a letter on each individual tick, but each individual tick was required to form the pattern that does form the rest of the letters, if that makes sense. So each little tick.
Still each tick can have a meaning even if it doesn't come to a letter.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was saying is, and so as sky turns, the shadow moves around in this epic sundial here of logic. And you know, the first tick would be at the other part of the W in this drawing, but and then next we get to A, Osser. So so now we're at A.
Tick to Osser.
Yeah, tick to Osser. Okay. Okay. Oka, Aka, okay, Oko, Aka, Osser. What else?
Yeah. But Osser itself as a word, it's also like a combination of many words, because you have like As, which is a single person or As person, and then you have Er, which is. So As Er is like an Osser, but it's also Osser to combine. It's a people group of As. And then you have like Ser, which is Asis. So it comes to seeing. And then you
seeing
switch
and saying.
Seeing and saying, both, yeah. But when you switch it around, you become re, sa, repeat, say.
Whoa.
So Asa, repeat, say, the mother of learning, repeating and saying.
Wow, that one's cool.
Yeah. Then
so
it's also resa. Resa is to travel. So Asa resa is Asa traveling. And then when we spoke about astral, so astral bell is us traveling, and then it becomes projection when it's aser. So travel, astral projection is everything included in the word aser.
Yeah, it's also interesting how you design this to, like, with the yellow lines, kind of showing the angles.
Yeah.
I would be interested in knowing what the degrees are in these angles. Maybe that's something we can kind of do behind the scenes, just kind of talk about. But you know, these are essentially, they are forming. Yeah, there is this mathematical aspect to numerical mathematical aspect, angles, and obviously A makes quite a few angles here. Actually, that's a different A, but okay. But one thing to point out is, so it is making an upside down V, and then as we draw or text, the letter A is just a triangle with a line through it, but this line is showing that it's actually at an angle, which is interesting, that it's pointing to you know, the left side in between the Q and the R. And it's also worth pointing out that there's also astrology signs. You also have the astrology wheel in here.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, and if you look, I don't really know if I can go too deep into describing it. Just noticing things, which is between that Q and the R, that is Aries.
Q and R, yeah.
And at the and then it's pointing to the middle of the M, which is interesting because we're saying it's the sayer, and M is also the mouth and the moon, and then you have the other pole. So it's made up of 3 poles, all of equal length.
Yeah,
which is interesting. And then it's pointing to through. So also all the letters are going to be either a full size pole, half size pole. Oh, I guess you have several sized poles, maybe 3 total.
But these are then depending on the axis where it comes from, how long the poles are.
Okay. You'll have to describe that better.
Because it's like everything is connecting to somewhere, and that defines the length of the poles.
Okay, I'll ask you more about that when we get to F here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same happens with E, and same happens with everything.
Right. And then the other aspect would be the holes. So the rings. And so you either have full ring or half ring, generally speaking. Yeah. All right. Is that good? Okay. I like the visualization of these. How you did this. It's amazing. So we got B. Bay. Bay. Which is Borg. Borg.
Borg.
Burg.
But when we pronounce it Borg, it's like the book is the Bock and the Bock. It's also Bock in it.
Got it. Yeah.
But the bear is then to ask, or you go to church and you bear, you pray for something.
Right, you beg. Yeah, we'll get into that when we get to B. Yeah. Okay. But actually not really. I mean, we will, but it also is worth going over the basics of each letter, because we have not just the word that it represents, which is the castle or the Borg, right? But also bay, which is to like ask. In English, it would be like begging, but not so negative, like desperate begging. More
there
like
is 2 types of bear. There is the bear when I ask you to do something, and then there is the bear when I go and pray for something.
Yeah, I spent a little time kind of studying this BE, these BE words, and almost all of them relate to this, there's this word begripa, great beep, which is to understand or comprehend.
A grip.
Yeah, so you get a grip of the bay. So if you're gripping the bay, you're understanding or comprehending. You know, so it kind of expresses itself in this way in all of this sound combination.
And the bay is the sound of the letter. Like when we have A is a vocal, then B is a consonant, so you need to have the E.
Yes. So yes, exactly. So that's something to point out too, before we keep going too, is these vowels have a lot. I don't know how to verbalize this correctly. But basically B cannot be a single sound. It's just you have to connect it to something. So it's always connected to another sound to express itself. And there are several letters that are this way. Whereas the vowels, are things that are a vowel. Yeah, it's hard to I guess it's going to be hard to verbalize. It's something that maybe as we go through this that we can help come to help people watching this can come to, or listening can come to an understanding of what I'm trying to say in this moment, because we have these connecting sounds, but we also have these vowel sounds, which are more self-evident. Again, they're using this word self-evident, which is a very complicated thing to define as well, because it goes both ways. Like it can mean itself, and it can be attached to other meanings to express that meaning in the vowels way.
Yeah.
So you take yes, and again, it's always in the sound. So you change the sound, you change the meaning of these connecting words. But the meaning of that connecting thing, like you can go ba, bay, be, boo. Anyway, you can go all the way around with all the different connecting sounds to this concept of the place, the nest in which B expresses itself in all these different ways. So we'll be getting into all of that at some point. And it doesn't always have to be a vowel. Also, it could be BL, blood, blood, or something like that. So these concepts, this concept of a castle, of a Borge, or a Lina in Von, right? That's actually not really in any other videos, is the Von words for all of these also.
Yeah, let's try when we come to letters, we see which letter the sound changes when it comes to Finnish.
Okay.
Because that maybe has something to do with the structure of the language, of which sounds are used to pronounce which letters. So when we have in root, we have B, but in English we have B. But it has maybe something to do with how the language itself is constructed to some extent.
Okay, yeah, because that's I don't know what we're getting ourselves into, Johan, but this is I'm having a lot of fun already. So and this is just like introducing what we're going to be really getting into, which is going to be unpacking a lot, and I think it's going to be awesome to have something on the internet available to people, really going deep into these concepts. I mean, we're just at B, and we're not even trying to go into B, right?
No.
But
also the B, the axis is also interesting here, because you have the axis and then you have the two semicircles, which is creating the B. So when we have the P, which is soft B, now we have the B, which is the hard B, the B.
Yes.
But you have the B in a way. So in the sound itself also have the double. It creates the two hills.
Yeah. So the Lina, the line, the Lina is going straight to the I on the E, which is interesting. Yeah. The yellow line.
It's
so
got
the pole of B is pointing to I.
See.
Pointing it out, and it's made with one pole and two semicircles or hemispheres or whatever we want to call them.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Anything else you want to say about it?
Oh well.
Oh, B is also this is the nest, right? Go back to B real quick. I'm sorry, before C. This is the nest. So the word, you're going into, you went over Osser. So in Borge, we have this concept of a boo, right? And this is our I guess the literal translation would be like nest.
Yes.
You think of a bird's nest.
But it's used as home also.
Yes, or bosom, right? And so the letter B literally looks like breasts.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the in root it would be men have the balls.
Yeah.
Right. And women have the balcons, so the balconies, the balcony. And this is yeah, so it's very it has a very nest. Has a lot to do with babies and stuff like that, but the nest is where the babies are kept warm in a bird's nest. I think a bird's nest is a great concept of it, but it's the human bird's nest or something,
Well, it's both.
Yeah.
It's also the bird's nest is the book. Yeah.
Yes, of course. So in English, there's a few words like born. You're being born into you're born. So there's a little sound change there in our pronunciation in modern English, at least. And
then when you live somewhere, you're boor. And then comes the borg, which creates the ground of it, everything. But the interesting, the letter, bow, yeah.
No,
but
like a bow, like a bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow, that also. But the letter itself, when it creates the two semicircles, the middle in between is like you have two walls around, and then you have the nest in the middle.
Right. Yeah, or the other way around. You remove the pole, and you have two bowls.
Yeah, that also.
So bowl.
Yeah, so you're still your bowl.
Right, and then I mean, there's yeah, a lot of it is a bow. The shape of a bow. You actually have two bows, bow and arrow type of bow. So it's and you also get like bovine, like the cows got its name bovine because of the shape of its horns makes a bow, like a nest shape. So the letter itself is nest shape. That is quite very interesting. There's that great song Bohemian Rhapsody. No, I'm just kidding. Silly. Okay. The Bohemian Grove. I'm sure there's something there actually. Boo.
Yes, Booheim.
Booheim. Yeah. So Bohemisk. Bohemisk. A buoy.
A boogie.
No, like a buoy is like like floats out there. I don't know what it would be in. Anyway, okay, yeah, we can go more maybe. Yeah. More into that when we get to B. Okay, Borge Castle. And then it is the nest in where the children making happens. Let's just say.
Yes, that's the castle. Yeah, the Acer's castle.
Cast all.
Cast.
Okay.
Then we had C and again C.
C. So you did draw a line here on this one.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I drew in the line with the purpose that where it cuts the circle so that I get a pion or radius on it or diameter on it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's more for the D, but it is kind of one and the same. They're connected, so it's kind of like another S. And then same thing in the sound of C is also you find your S words as well. So it sort of has the same name. So this is Shara or Skara.
Shara.
So share. Yeah, so it's a share.
It's share, yeah.
Share. And this is sharing the night and day. So this is also this is kind of the half moon.
It's a crescent. The D is the half moon.
Yeah, so it is the crescent moon. The crescent moon. Right, and I find a lot of our SK words. So in the astrology wheel, this would actually be where Scorpio is located.
Okay.
Which is interesting because that is an SK word. And I'm not confident that I'm not confident that the astrology as we understand the animal wheel of today was existing in paradise. So I don't, because a lot of like say like Aries is the ram. And this is very close to the goat, but kind of animal, but would be more of a domesticated animal covered in fur for ice time. So I think this idea of it being Scorpio, maybe I won't speak of it anymore in relation to the alphabet wheel, just because I'm not confident that it was existing in the way that we understand it today in astrology. Was existing
maybe not
in paradise.
to every detail, but something like that has existed.
Yeah, something like it, but I don't think it was the specific animals. Maybe it was different animals, and we also have different astrologies around the world. So maybe it was more of a cultural phenomenon of how we have the zodiac signs, meaning with their current animal representations as they are today, maybe weren't the same animal, but may have been a different animal. As anyway, but phonetically, the words themselves, there's a lot of SK words with C, but C is Skara, which is an SKARA, right?
Yeah, in the written form. Yeah.
In the written form, it would be an SK word also.
Yeah. But also in the word love, which is kärlek, there you only write the K, but the sound is still there. It's a little bit this because the C words are somehow taken away, that there is not so much C words as maybe there was before. Especially in Finnish language, you can see this quite much.
Yeah, they kind of hidden or they kind of disappeared with an S.
To S.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, there's like, I have like one page in the Swedish dictionary of C words, and they're all CH words or CA. Well, I guess we have a couple of the vowels being represented, but so that's going to be a tricky one when we get to that one. Which ones are S words? But I strongly feel these SC and SK words like scorpion, scathing, score, scale, scrape. You know, all these words, and those are English versions, but
but Scorpio is SC also.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is I think these are kind of how the C words are hidden. So maybe going into these S, C, and SK are going to be a lot more of the C words. So when we get there, maybe we can kind of go, and that'll kind of be the way to
unfold things.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Scala. Scala, which is ring out or peel.
Yeah, it's also scale.
Scale. Yeah, so again, so that's like that sounds very like more of a C word than an S word.
Yeah, scale is something that you share things with. You scale
so
them so that you have the balance.
Yeah, I think that's kind of we'll put a point on there and mark that for future, but it's representing sharing, right? So this is also the offering system. Let's talk about the offering system of women having their mahla, the men having succeeding. That's another C word, right?
Yeah.
We got quite a few C's. They put extra C's in that one to really emphasize that sharing, succeed, which is like, isn't it? It's two C's in a row in English, at least, right? So, but it also would be the mother's milk. So back to Borge, you know, the babies drink from their mother's breasts right there. So they're sharing that drink, right? And the D is I guess we can wait till we get to D, but
Let's
D is
jump
basically
to D.
B is two D's.
Yeah.
So you drink from both breasts, DD,
Yeah.
which is drink. So I guess we'll get there next. But it also has to do with each other. C and D is they're connected.
From the crescent comes the half moon, in a way.
Right. It shares the day.
Yeah.
So anything else on C you wanna say?
Maybe later.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is fascinating, interesting, but this is S.
But also this is in the word Seppo. Like you can see him as the sun oak pole or the sun oak tree, but you can also see him as C, B, because also C becomes also seeing in a way, the se sound, to say, to see.
Yeah. See, say. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the symbol itself, the symbol C, has also to do with the Seppo, the king, with being also because Seppo and Maya are the goods of the love. And then the love, when it's Shalek, it started with the C and started with the sharing. So this C is all about sharing and sharing love.
Right. And it's, I was gonna say is it with the a sound?
Which?
Share?
Cha,
Is it with a or ah?
Okay. Shara.
So it's at the okay.
It's sha and then it's ra.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Which is also the literal definition in the dictionary would be sickle, which is obviously there's a C in there, but yes, but which is the crescent moon. So shape of the crescent moon. So already that's there's some inversion or changing there. Interesting. Okay. All right. Jump. Yes.
The day.
The daytime. That's pretty important. Yeah.
And day is day.
Important. Yes. And where this was created, this alphabet wheel was always day time.
Good.
So day.
So when you day plant the oak tree, then everything starts to flow.
Right. Everything grows in the daytime. Yeah. That is where we get all of our energy. And so this is the meaning would be D.
D to drink. But it can also be da, which is day. Dog.
Yeah. Dog. Yes. Okay. Dog. Got it. Interesting. Yes. All right.
And the sound is day, and day is day.
Which is, yes, day ek. The oak tree.
Day.
Ekans. D-E.
Yeah.
Day ek. Yeah.
But there is D, which is the drink. And then it's da, which is dog, day. And then there is de, which is they, as translated. So they drink day. They did.
Okay, I don't have much to share except for because it kind of coincides with C, but the letter B is DD. Day. So it's one pole and a half ring, and is making a pole straight into Ho or hell.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
So hell is giving growth to both DC.
Yeah, daylight, daytime. Day, and then DI.
But there's also now when I look at it, you have the C moon and the D moon, and when you combine them, you have the whole moon.
Right. Yes. They're sharing.
Yeah, they're shared.
Yes. So they're intrinsically connected. Say. Day and say. Say and day. Say, day. Day. Oh, it also means to divide. It's divided.
Yeah.
So which is also interesting because it is Borge divided. Well, that's C, I guess. So C, you can think of divided or a share of, like you buy shares in the stock market. It's a part, but it's a part of a whole. So that whole, all that concept.
The share is the process of the sharing, and the divide is when it's divided.
Yes. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I like that. And yeah, there's quite a few day. Oh, check this out. The moon.
The moon.
Demon.
Yes.
The moon. Right. That has been demonized for sure. Right. And you also get your monsters, a moon stare. And
then we have do, which is you.
Because if you're staring at the moon, you're at nighttime. You're no longer in the daytime. So you're a moon starer. You're staring at the moon. Okay. I'll try to refrain from being silly, but okay. Anything else on D? Divide. The divided share.
And then it's de, which is to die. First you divide and then you die. And die is also to D. D, die. You start with the day and you die with the day.
Yeah, well, that's what happens with the sun and the moon every day, right?
Yeah.
So the moon rules the nighttime, and the sun rules the daytime, and it is shared. And even in the north, you have long winters, but you also have long summers where the sun doesn't set, for long periods of time. So throughout the year, if you were to add up all the time, it would be fairly equal. Everyone gets their fair share of the day.
Yes. Yeah. Should we jump to everybody's share of the oak then?
Or you diner, you have dinner, you diner. So you're, yeah, that's what.
But you have the dinner when the D is down. Ner is down, so dinner. When the drink is done, you have done your dinner.
Yes, for sure. We'll get there. But yeah, that is it is an offering. This is where a lot of our words come from diner or anyway, there's a bunch of them. But okay, all right, Disa.
Yeah, Disa. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a basic
okay.
concept in the saga.
Yes.
A lot around her, these ladies also.
All right. Well, we're having a nice day today. Okay.
Yes.
Next one. Ooh, this one. Not ooh.
A.
Is this is a big concept, and even just by the lines drawn, you can tell there's a lot going on with this one. And it's interesting with the lines drawn. It's the same reversed with F coming up. You know, it's kind of cool that the longest, or well, you have the long pole, and then you have 3 ascending poles going, and then below it, F is making the same length poles connecting to the ring, which is interesting. But
it's also like it's also like B, C, D. They are all cut with the A.
Yeah.
So the half circles and semicircles may be cut with the A, at least according to the sounds of these letters. To some extent, in some way.
Can you elaborate more?
Like if
what do you mean?
You have the sound of the B, you have like the A, you have the 3 lines.
Yes.
And then when you pronounce the B, you have the 3, you have A. And you have C, you have A. D, A. And then it continues with then A, F. So you cut away 1 line when you pronounce the S.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, see, these are some phonetic or linguistic or oral or sound system things that is hard to just make these distinctions without speaking the language.
Yeah.
But it's all encoded in there. So, but that is interesting, and a lot of those sounds are the distinction is made in writing a little bit with, like, say, like K or CK words, right? So like if it's CK, if it's spelled with like a CK, for example, as a silly example, but it shortens the sound. So it'd be like flick instead of fleek, right? Instead of fleek or flake, it would be flake, you know, something like that. Interesting. Okay. Or flack, or never mind. Sorry, I just went to a different sound. Okay. Yeah, so this is representing the family tree. You know, this is all the little acorns that come off the tree are the seeds, which is representing all the sperm, all the souls on the planet coming from sperm.
Yeah. And egg in itself is also 1. Like especially in this Indian languages, it's still used as 1, is egg. But in Saga concept, it also comes as egg. Like January, the first month is in Finnish, Tammikuu, and Tammi is egg. So it's the egg month, the first month.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, the Finnish months that's a really cool subject. Yeah, because all the names of our months in English, January, February, March, April, all the way down, we know they're wrong and we don't know what the hell they mean, but it's like very explicit in Finnish. It's like, no, this is what it means. And you're like, oh, okay, got it. All right. Especially an Old Norse name for December. That one's pretty bonkers, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head or anything, but it's something like, anyway, whatever. You know, talk about it. You can look it up. Okay, so we got ek, simple, oak, ek, tech. Yeah.
And oak as itself, as the word combination, if you use it as a letter, you can be meaning the tree, or you can mean the people itself, or like it has multiple purpose behind it.
Right. And again, that like doesn't mean it means everything, or it means both at the same time almost. You know, it's kind of, again, one of these self-evident type of things. You know, we have the ecology, we have the economy, the economy, we have the ecology, we have squirrel. What's squirrel?
Ekkorre.
Ekkorre. So you know, there's it expresses itself in many words. This ek. Yeah. But that's what it's representing. Cool. The family tree, the sperm tree, the oak tree, which must be a very old tree from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Beginning of the human time, at least. At minimum. All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Or do we have some more stuff to point out?
I guess that we will have a lot of stuff to point out when we come into letter combinations.
Sure. But I mean, just more with the symbol right here, general, with E-A.
E-A.
No, I'm sorry, the letter E, the letter A, the sound A, ek. You know, it is going across to the R and S quite a bit.
Yeah. It's like it's growing out of them in a way.
Or it's like the R and S are growing the E or the A. God, this is going to be confusing. This is where it's confusing because of the sound. And we're discussing it in English. So I don't know how we want, if we want to make.
Well, let's just continue on.
Okay. Yeah. But it's like the sun and the moon are growing the branches.
Yeah.
You know, off the pole of the tree there.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the bottom one is the root, is representing the root of the tree. You know, they say that like
very much the base of it, the root, I should say.
Yeah. And you know, and you know, they say like you can look at the canopy of a tree, and that's how wide the root system also grows. So as big as the tree is up above the ground, is also as big as it is under the ground, essentially. And which brings us to our next point, F.
Yes. How the seed grows.
Boom. So F, which is, now we've gone below the middle of the ring, which is where seeds grow.
I did.
So, which is fru, which is seed, and represents Frey and Freya, and is very similar to the E, to A, to Ek, this idea of the oak tree, and the seed. And we plant the seeds under the ground, and so fru is, you know, very what you said is so it is very similar to Ek because they are very similar.
Yeah. But it is because it's F, so it's the oak's seed, the F.
Yes. So now we have a because in Bay say day you have the Ek meaning afterwards, but now in F it's flipped. So now it's F. So so this is another sound very similar to B, where it's a combination sound. You can say the sound.
Yeah.
But it's
But to give it meaning, you add the letters.
Doesn't have any. Yeah, it doesn't. It needs to express itself with other sounds connected to it. So yeah, what do you want to say about?
And then another thing is also now comes the bond difference because in bond this is F. It's F, so it's F and it's F. So bond say is the A, which is the middle, the ing. So it's the field seed,
Right.
seed of the fields.
Yes.
So in oak you have only singular oaks, but now we have multiple flowers, plants.
Yes.
Turn some light on.
I'm just plugging this in here. Oh, you're gone too. Okay.
I had to burn off some light. It starts to sunset.
Okay. Yeah, the weather here, it was like 90 degrees yesterday, and today I think it's gonna rain either later today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Anyway,
I have no idea how much 90 degrees is except in sauna.
It's warm. It's warm. It's very hot. The sun.
Yeah, but that's Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Oh, 90 degree. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, in Celsius, 90.
32.
Yeah. Is it?
That's nice.
Yeah, 32. Huh. It's funny because it's 32 is freezing in Fahrenheit. Good number. Right before 33. Anyway, so Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
F. Yeah. There's
Also, we have the animals. It's called fa written, which has to do with them with the also the seed of the oak or the seed of the field, because the animals which you have goes outside and eat.
Yes,
it's an Atlantis word, Einstein word, which they start to develop their own animals.
And it's also representing Frey and Freya, who are the seeds of humanity.
Yeah. That's the basic meaning of it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's true Freyadom, or if you have a free end, you have a friend. Yeah. What else you got on that? What else do we want to?
Free in itself is to be free.
So the shape of the letter itself, the mark, we kind of already went over, or I kind of went over just the roots where the seed gets, it is kind of, it grows into the oak tree and the sperm tree, and eventually becomes the next fa there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is also father in it. Father, the seed of everything.
Yeah, F.
But also in this alphabet wheel, it's interesting that when you flip it from the ground to the top, it's where the oak grows.
Right. Right. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah. Peaceful. Fredlig. Yeah.
Fred in itself.
Yeah.
Freud. But we can dive again deeper into the letter combinations.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
And we have G.
Yay.
To give.
Yay. So now the E is back on the other side of the the letter, the mark, the sound. Ge, G-E in English. Ge, to give.
Yeah.
Representing the Grund. So that
Yes.
is exactly where the seed goes, is in the
Yes.
Grund. Rund is round.
Yes.
G, the mark is interesting. It's almost a complete ring.
Yeah. It has the length of a complete ring, but it's cut off by the piece that comes into the ring.
Yeah, which is kind of like the flat part of the ground. So, and it's almost round. It's like giving some round vibes.
But it's also the G that gives the word like the ground of the growth of the wheel of the ground.
Yeah, it grow. Yeah. So, yeah, that's I'm seeing a word here, grubel, which is brooding. Grubel. Am I saying that right?
I'm not sure.
Well, we also have grove in English. You know, this is where everything grows in a grove. It's like a group of a place where seeds were planted and many trees grow in a grove. So an oak grove.
A groove, yeah, grove.
Groove, yes. Groove in root. Okay.
That's offerlund then is a groove, a sacrificial groove. Yeah.
Groove. That's interesting because that's a groove is like you know, like a groove in English is just like a little place, a little hole or something like that.
But you pronounce it grove.
Well, no, you have grove, and we also have groove.
Okay.
We have groove. It's Groove. So it's a groove, and that would be in root. It would be Gruv. That's it. But groove, a groove in English is like a divot, or like if I carve like a line in my table here, would be I'd put a groove in it. But yeah, it's kind of like a line. It's kind of a anyway. I don't know what it would be in groove, but anyway.
But that's like in the engrave when you engrave the groove.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be when you engrave something, you're putting a groove in it. In English, but we don't want to talk about English too much.
But here is also in this how this picture is formed. You have the mirror side is the Odin's ring. You have the Odin's ring and the ground.
Wow, yeah.
So the ground is spinning when the sun is spinning.
Whoa, that is an excellent connection. Yes. Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. That one kind of hits you differently. We're like, oh, there's something there for sure. Yeah.
That's the rune. The round again around the sun is the ground.
Yes.
For a lot of things. And from that ground, the seed grows.
That's awesome. Yes. So there you go. Okay.
See. Some more ideas on G? Except that you want to drink some G? Or make with your
gay, give, gay, you know, gay means happy. Also. And it's also kind of an open mouth. So like that the line of the G is going inside the ring to the middle of it. So it's kind of giving a part of itself to the ring. So it's
it's opening up its mouth to give.
Yeah, it's almost like the tongue, but going in or something like that. Something like that. That doesn't sound right, what I just said, but you know what I mean. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So ho. And now ho is with the A with the ring above it letter. And that specific sound is representing the rivers, the river of life flowing, the river of humanity flowing out of this whole. And now also something to note with this letter is the first letter of two total letters that actually go outside of the ring a little bit.
Yeah, from the sounds inside of the ring.
And this is representing hell. And
hail.
Hail. H-A-I-L in English. Hail. But hell is whole. And whole like complete.
Yes.
Not whole like a hole, but also whole like a hole.
The hole with the W, which you don't pronounce.
Yes. Well, it's both, right? It's
it's the hell hole where.
Yes.
You
the
have
whole
the
hell. Hail the whole. Hail the holy hole.
Hail the holy hole.
Something like that. Yes, and this isn't like a made up. Yes, hell, meaning whole or full or complete, is not a play on words. That is the actual translation in Swedish or root language and everything. It is hell, one L, not all the other L's, not the extra L. Just complete.
Just the simple
which is fascinating.
hail.
Right. So obviously this language is constructed pre-religion because this would not fly in a Christianized nation where you're saying hell means whole and complete. That's a clear inversion that has happened.
The same as you call hell holy.
Yeah. Holy. Yeah. And you got I have here in the let's say our dictionary, Hela would be like a large full size bottle.
Hela.
Why does it say bottle? Whatever. I don't know why it says bottle, but it means fully or full and complete. So in the story we have. Well, actually, I mean, it's kind of telling you. So we're describing both nature and making people, right? And we have the story of hell being a hole, like a little area that was an actual physical location in one of the islands.
Yeah, the hell also means the mountain, the cliff hell. So on the cliff hell of hell, there is a hole, and in this hole, which is the holy hole, on top of the E hole, is born the F, the Freya.
Got it. Yes, and it's possible that is why that little leg, the bottom right leg of the H mark, is going outside of the circle. And is going under into just a little bit into the underworld, essentially, or like into a hole
outside of the ring.
Yes, but only part of the H is going out there. And this one is connecting. So we have 3 total poles, 2 full-size lines, and
one cutting.
One's cutting. So
Okay. We have one cutting right where the drink is shared and divided, and I don't really have much to say about the left side one, but the other one is going through the N, the knowledge.
And then also when you have the it cuts the O of the O.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got the oh yeah, because that is the letter that is whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I wasn't existing in my drawings, so
Yeah. But that's something that is now new that we still need to look for the confirmation of everything.
Yeah, it's tricky, these outside letters. Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
What else we got? We got hell, ho. Does ho have a specific meaning?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ha is to have.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
It's also found in hole, which is like a cavity or a hall or a cave or a Valhalla.
Yeah.
Valhalla.
Also, the Valhalla's ho is the one which goes underneath dirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get to Val. That's a pretty commonly expressed meaning in many of the saga stories. So we don't need to go too much into detail, but it basically just means election. In the hall. Yeah. Okay. Yee. Yee. E.
So this is now the capital E. When the start is the little e, this is now the capital E, which has a little bit different, more functions in it.
Interesting. So you say the capital. Okay, so this is because capital E.
The capital E is just the pole. The pole can either go outside or then the E can go inside, depending on how the egg is formed. On the male side, the E comes out, and the female side, the E comes in. But only the male side, basically as I understand, creates the dot for the E, the small E.
Oh, okay. I did not have that distinction made before. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, this is the man Z, where all the people come from.
Yeah.
All the seeds.
And it's also the female E, which has to do with also people coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
Which also is inside. But yes.
There's the male E that goes into the female E and out comes I.
And it's just a single pole. A pole represented by a single pole, which goes straight to the nest.
Yeah. Indeed.
And it connects to the line coming from a Osser.
That also.
So it's coming from, so those are connected. The E, the castle, and the Osser.
Yeah.
I don't think I even need to say much more about that because that's pretty self-evident of what we're talking about. You know,
the rhyme itself starts with E Osserna's body. So it comes here also.
Okay, moving
Okay.
on. Can you hear me just fine?
Yeah, I can hear you. So E.
Yeah.
E is ice. And then we have the pronouncer Easted Atlantis. Atlantis, E.
Why?
Why?
Why is it east? I mean, was there any, if during paradise there's no ice?
Or
So,
there can be ice on mountain tops and these kind of places.
okay.
And like you can form still ice even if you have warm conditions.
Okay. So it was still existing. So I feel like that sound is in the word paradiset. Paradiset. So it has multiple ways to break up that word. You can say pa for pole, Auster's pole, radius, et. So the ring, the pole, ring, land of the family, the one family. Or you can break up the words as pa-ra. So this is before.
Yeah.
The ice. Para-di
Paradise, yeah.
Paradise, the before the ice.
Yeah.
The time before the ice, backwards, right? Or the one, the being like one, the one, et ice before. And then you have alt land east, all the land ice, alt land east, Israel, Israel,
Yeah.
Israel.
But is then also is that something is. And is in the sun or sea. The seed of something.
Isolation, and then we have that shun sound, but I guess maybe in root it would be sol era or isol era. So it'd be the ice soul era. So like the era of being in the ice or something.
But it can also be E sol era. And also in Finnish language, iso is big. But I don't know how that to do with isolate.
Well, maybe not isolate, but I mean, because late,
yeah, I'm so late.
You can remove the late, right, and put something else in there, because that's kind of usually like in English words. I've noticed, or I feel like in English words, when the Finnish words kind of express themselves, it's just like in Finnish how you can connect all these other parts to make these longer and longer words. So often it's just more of like the syllable that gets transferred over to English more than the total, like late is completely different. But the iso and isolate and but same thing in this Von language, using root, you still get the meaning of the word. And wait, what's iso again?
Big.
Big. Big
in the
ice. I
sun,
don't
wood,
know.
and
Yeah, big. Okay. Iso.
so.
Hmm.
And then it's Isa, his father.
Hmm. Hmm. So that might be more like, the E, Sulen Uden. So I mean, that doesn't feel very icy to me. I don't
not
know.
anymore.
I mean, that's more IS anyway. So we're talking about ice, but if we're just talking about E, you can take away the S also, and you're still talking about something to do with the father or the mother.
Yeah, okay, if you want to just be with the isolate, you have the ice which is surrounding the O.
Right.
And then you do different things with it.
Yes. Late. Yeah. Well, I mean, in root, I mean, that's English. So isolate. I mean, going back to just root, it would just be isolering.
Isolering.
Is isolation.
Yeah.
So again, this ring, soul, E. So I mean, it's backwards. It still means that same thing. You're isolated in a ring. Isolation. And then you can also have insulation. So when you're trying to keep warm, you need to wear good insulation. Or when you're in the ice, you're insulated in the ice also. And the souls are in the ice. Good words. Very E related, but that's kind of feels a little separate from just the concept of I, or E.
Let's go deeper later.
Okay, yes, that's the plan. Let's go. J. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's also to give. Now
Yeah.
it's Yi. Yi is the sound for it.
Yeah.
Because it follows the E, the Yi.
Yi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lo. Sal. Lem.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Yero, give this.
Yarrow. Yeah, can you break that down? Because you wrote a book.
Yeah, I wrote a book. I wrote in 2 books basically already, but
Yeah, so in this book that I'm referring to, what's the title of it?
title is Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerusalem.
Yeah is to give, Ru is peace, Sa is say, and Lem is lemminkäinen. It's give peace, said lemminkäinen.
Amazing. That's a hard-hitting word there.
It is.
And concept, and never before heard by someone who's not a pretty deep Bacchanologist. Even if you've heard the saga in several videos, this is not a meaning that you would have heard described too often. And there's a few very old words that are used in religions and stuff like that. And that's a big one. Jerusalem.
Yeah, but Jerusalem is written with the U. This is written with the O.
Right. So there's these changes. There's Jerusalem. There's Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah. There's hell. We got all the big words. The big hard hitting words up here in this Bock Saga story and sound system, and that are bringing got Jesus, yay, sus.
Yeah, now we're Jesus.
Yeah. So Jesus and Yesu. Anyway, so but we're here at the J's, which is representing the Jarl class, the Jarls. In English, it would be the Earls, which is upper middle class, essentially.
Upper middle class, yeah.
All Robbies are Jarls.
No, rabbis are rosettes.
Oh, okay.
Jarls are Warner. The highest class of Warner is the Jarls. They are the one who is taking care of the bureaucracy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are when Adla this time becomes, they are the husbunden. They're bound to the house, so they're husbands. So husbands becomes Charles in a way.
Okay. Yes.
And then it's also Johan. You meaning yes, and he, Han meaning he. And then we go to midsummer when we have Johannus, which is the day when you make babies.
Ah, so your name day.
Yes. It's the name day nowadays of John the Baptist, the 24th of 6th.
So, and there's a lot, this is a lot of yes words. Yes, 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 yes. So our word yes in English with a Y is actually a J.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You.
Yeah.
Use. So of course, yo, you, why, yes. So there, this one got January. So our English J sound is fake made up sound that is actually a G.
Yeah. But you have J, which is yeah. Then again, and then it's because like you see also here, the pole of the J cuts the A.
Yeah.
In the picture, so you have J in the alphabet wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be pronounced with English Y.
Why?
It would be pronounced, J is pronounced with an English Y sound. Yeah. Instead of J.
Yeah.
Pronounced with a Y. Yeah. So it's another sound change, just like A. A is ah, E is A, and I is E, and J is yeah. Or J is Y. Just wanted to make that distinction. People who don't know Bocksaga are always like J is a fake made up letter, but it actually
that's because
does.
it's
because it makes that different sound.
Yeah.
And
that's also because it's not included in the Roman alphabet or Latin alphabet. When we're missing the curved J's.
Oh, okay.
We only have the I's.
So a lot of confusion because the sound exists, but the sound exists in their language, but they just don't use the mark for it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
this reminds me also of the I. The letter I, E is also the I, which we see.
So I mean, there's a lot of J words, and in Saga, it's talking about the Jarl class of people. So I don't even know how to ask this. Doesn't mean it doesn't these words with J don't have I mean, I'm just like I'm just kind of like perusing some of these J words, and I know we'll probably go much deeper into it later, but I mean, you got journalist, you got groaning and moaning, and I don't know. I don't know what I was about to ask. Basically, like it's representing the upper middle class, and they have to make a lot of people, more people than the Osser, and they come from the Osser, which is why the J points to the A, right?
Yeah, they're born from the Osser. Yeah,
and their seed is not fully complete. So it is shared slightly. So maybe that can explain why it goes through the C, because it's a partial sharing.
interesting point. I was just thinking also what the C has connection, but it comes born from the A and shares the C to create the K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be completely attached to the K.
No, but you see the line which starts from the C cuts the hook of the J and then it hits the K.
Right. And I don't know if in my drawing I have one. I just have mine open off to the side over here. See, in my, to be honest, I don't know if that's in my first drawing here. My J is actually connecting to the E. So I don't know if that's
But now you have much more angle on it. You have different angle on it.
sorry, I have mine has a different angle on this drawing here. Let me see my other one. I don't, because this might be a mistake. I'm not sure. One of us made a mistake. I just don't know who it is.
Well, it can be interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, because I think that I have made that one finding from Cliff's drawing.
Even in my second drawing, it's connected to. Can you see it? It's going to the top of the E of the A, the ek. So I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, it could be that it's that way also.
So let's leave it open. Let's leave it open.
Yeah, it could be it's the top of the E.
Because that makes a little more sense to me. Because it's also
the oak that gives
the same
seed
length.
to the K.
It's the same length as the top of the E.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like in my drawings, it's the same length. The top of the E, the short pole of the E, and the short pole of the F.
At the tip of the J.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a correction, or I mean, I don't even know what it all means anyway. So I mean, I kind of do, but it's just I'm just noticing patterns when I was making it and stuff like that. So that could be I don't know. Well, let's leave it open.
But it's one angle switch basically.
Yeah. So so I was like, maybe it's good because it's not really even like cutting the C in this digital version. It's not really. I can't. I was just like trying to think of like how it could, what it could mean, why the J is formed like that, but it makes a little more sense to me with the E, but let's leave it open.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you for that feedback.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely is that is a weird one too, right? Like that
Yeah.
little pole. And but doesn't the J also have a dot? I mean, I didn't
when it's drive like when it's a small letter, it has a dot.
Right. And so I don't know, maybe in both of our drawings, because I don't think I put a dot on it in this one either. Did I?
No, there's not supposed to be because they are capital letters.
Okay. Yeah, they're okay. So yeah, they're all capital letters.
Except for the little I in the beginning.
Yeah. That actually goes for T also. It actually is anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. And it connects to moon, pointing it out. Okay. Let's just go on to K.
Yeah.
All Jarl's parents are Osser from the Rosette family.
Yes.
And then all the Karls, their fathers are the Jarls.
Yes.
And now women from the Karl class make children with men from the Jarl class.
Yeah.
And
the letter itself sound is ko. The K.
Call. Ku? No, not ku. Call.
Not Q, but ko.
The A with the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. Call. That's pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah.
So the Karls. There's a lot of people named Karl.
Carl in its base is man. Like a man is a Carl.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the son of men.
Yeah. Who took the ladies from how it goes, the renowned men.
So Carl. I have a few friends named Carl.
Yeah, do they drive a caravan?
Caravan, car. Carls drive cars. Actually, one of them rides a motorcycle, but I'll let it slide. Let's see. We'll get to Carl, Earl. So this is one of those where most of the meaning is in the first two syllables, and then you attach the R and the L to give it more, to kind of like really enunciate the meaning.
Mm-hmm. But here also with the letter itself, it's interesting that it's on the middle line now. So it cuts the I or the top down to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
We are at the center of the ring where we had the K.
Yeah, it's with the yellow lines, it really gives like an asterisk or like an X.
Yeah.
And
there is also some other meaning that has to do with car, and I think it's referred with the center line also.
So okay, this is actually going to back up the J connecting to the E, because the shortest pole on the K for Carl is connecting to it's the same length as the top of the F.
Yeah, true.
And then I was actually, oh, never mind. I was going to say something else. Never mind. Yeah. K.
Took my baby away.
The great grandkids of uko and uaka. Yeah.
And there we have the ka, the ka.
Yeah, but yeah, it's usually written with double K.
Also. Yeah,
Also.
because it's akka.
Yes, and you know, the symbol is kind of interesting. It's like the A is there if you just move the pole around. Like you can move like just like the main pole that's going down the middle. You just move it down, and now you have an A. What else?
Also, the K sound is also something like K. It comes in and out. And then the K, you have the A. Here we come to the key.
Yes. Yes. And they are significant. This is a very large group of people. Yeah. The Carl class.
It's like the middle class.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about J and K or K.
There is then stories related to them. Like they have a lot to do with K has with carnival and caravan and car itself and
yeah, tons. K is a very abundant letter and sound in many words, and it's extensive. I mean, I'm just swiping through how many pages of K words there are, and it might be the largest letter. I don't know. Might have the most pages in my Swedish English dictionary here. Have the most root words and many short words in it. You know, you also get the word class. You know, I mean, so this is a big one. I don't know how to be very general with it until
you know how to do that. You become a character and then you start to play out your words.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's a lot to go into with K.
Yeah.
I mean, you even get the ku, like for moon in Von.
Yeah, cool. But cool also then in root it's the cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in root the cow is written with a single u, and the ban, the ku, it's with double u.
Yeah, and then you also get kub, which is like a cube. So and which is also one of the lines connecting to Q. So K and Q are connected through this line, and the Q itself will end up pointing right back to the K.
Yeah.
So so they're definitely very connected, the K and the Q. Yeah.
Let's move towards there then.
A lot of mathematical connections here with K and the Q, which are Q is the sound of K. So K is a huge concept, you know, and in English, a lot of our C words are actually K words. So again, this is going to be an interesting challenge to navigate separating S, C, and K. And I think we're going to find that they're all connected in some way. Okay, I mean, and it is in the bottom middle of the ring, which is very significant, and it divides the logic and the seed. So it's connecting through a lot of concepts. It's not only connecting to Q, but it's also right at the bottom. It's connecting to Q, but not going inside of it. But same thing with Uden. It's also connecting to the U, the O. So, and it's actually dividing the L and the F. And well, just for the sake of understanding, its whole isn't connecting to anything. Its main it is dividing the ring itself. So K is huge. But as it relates to Carl, I mean, maybe once we get to this letter, help me myself understand this concept a little better. Ka.
Yeah.
And oral. Carl. I don't know. Removing the K completely, anyway, so we'll get back to that. Unless you have something else you want to add.
Let's add later.
Okay.
And because we need to dive a little bit deeper maybe into this Kako Kiko.
Yeah.
Because Ka in itself, it's Asa and Askal. So it's the men of the Aser.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we're okay. Done with okay. L.
There is one more thing in K, which is when it's ko is the sound. When you turn it around, it becomes ok, and ok becomes then oka, which is to drive.
To drive?
Yeah, like okar is when I'm driving, jag åker. But åker is also the plant where you plant the fields, the äng, the fields.
Oh, an acre. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We have acre, which is like it's not that same meaning, but it's like it's
a measurement.
How many? Yeah, it's a measurement of land. So like if you have 1 acre, you have a bit of land.